Greetings fellow citizens of nations from around the globe. We are anonymous. We, the people, have the right to defend ourselves. The government should not be able to pass legislation to enact permits which bars the less financially capable, more poor people, from owning a weapon. We the American people, as individuals, have and are ensured the fundamental right to own, possess, keep, carry, manufacture, modify, buy, sell, use and bear a diversity of arms in all variations, powers, and capacities, meaning we have the right to lawfully acquire any weapon, destructive device, ammunition of offense, or projectile propellant, whether black powder fired or otherwise, whether fully automatic, select fire, semi-automatic, single shot, or elsewise, as well as any armor of defense, including body and vehicular armor, irregardless of the common use of arms with the military or militia, whether openly or concealed, in times of peace or war, whereas the government has issued the death sentence to our right, and signed their order to begin killing it by 1,000 tiny and imperceptible cuts, where those who surrender such rights for the promise of a temporary or even permanent security, will die the 1,000 deaths of a coward. Neither Congress nor the states are empowered to convert a right into a privilege, or a liberty into a license, charge a fee and limit, or deny them. Anything that is a right cannot be subject to conditions or licensing. Should Congress or any state convert a liberty into a privilege, charge a fee and issue a license for it, we the people are free to ignore the license and fee and engage in the exercise of the right with impunity, irregardless of its status of security within the Constitution, or any other legal instrument. Capitalism as a loophole. Capitalism and big business has been used as a loophole by politicians to obtain more wealth. And on the other end of the spectrum it has been used by big business to lobby to obtain more wealth. The Iraq War and the Gulf of Kuwait enabled oil companies to lobby the government to obtain more stock, in turn making politicians and shareholders profit. The last stage of capitalism is imperialism, and corporations who engage in it manipulate the idea of a free society in order to engage in depravity and predation against the environment, animals, and persons, then suffer the deleterious effects of such a business person's destructive activities. The government is not for the people. We demand for a government that supports and cares for its people, instead of one that gives the people's plundered money to its own members and special interests both in our nation as well as in foreign countries. The education system has been left defunct to produce more debt slaves. Children are brought up thinking that the loans they take out to get through college are a favor being done to them, when in reality, the Rothschildian banks who issue these predatory loans, even at times to minors incapable of giving lawful consent to such a contracted agreement. The government has propagated the ideas that separate us the most: race war, class warfare, culture war, cancel culture and political divide. The American people are not tools to obtain wealth and should not be treated as such. Creating ideas that separate us for wealth is harmful and it hurts the relationships we build with one another. Ongoing property right violations cannot be tolerated. Americans should be secure in times where we are all at risk. During the beginning of the pandemic there was a large wealth transfer from middle-class families and small businesses to big businesses. This wealth transfer proves there was a violation of property rights, as most lost jobs and the use of big business services means the loss of millions of homes and property because of this wealth transfer. The right to defend one's rights with force, particularly the right to defend property, is being curtailed, or flat out suppressed, except in some cases where castle doctrine may still be respected under the customs of common law. In all of these cases, the citizens' ability to use whatever just defensive tools and weapons they find necessary to the securing of any of their rights, has been reduced. So the government who are acting in all authority enforce what kind of guns may or may not be purchased, whether commercially manufactured and retailed, or otherwise. Career politicians have fucked us, and fucked us hard at that because they think serving in a position of civil duty is a job in which they should make a career, when truly, it is not. The idea of these positions is to help the American people, not help your financial situation. Because of their greed they do things out of the motivation to make more money. Consequences be damned for greed. Censorship is rampant on sites such as Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and YouTube. These services were supposed to be, and were advertised to us as, platforms of equal opportunity to speak about what one felt was important to them. However, now people are being censored because their views do not align with the owners of such sites. Currently at this point in time this is where people are congregated most. So it is therefore important for these sites to value and uphold freedom of speech, since these sites are where people talk at, as well as the fact that speech is an inalienable right, which means it cannot be rightfully deprived from an innocent person, nor are they capable of being alienated, surrendered, or transferred, or as otherwise, they are impossible to take away or give up. They have criminalized the modes of self-reliance and inhibited our capacity for attaining full independence, such as by criminalizing fishing and cannabis growing without a license when intended for personal use, and severely limiting our reasonable ability to use these modes of attaining private property for engaging in free trade to maintain our sustenance and health, including when we impact no external ecosystem to proceed in such activities. Manufactured consent, manufactured choice and conditioning through predictive programming are just the tip of the iceberg of the lies which are told to create this illusion of freedom. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. It is too late to expect us.